as free education. 82 and 173 of the Constitution, particularly 82. Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha. The Constitution readjusts the rationalize the territorial constituency in the state without altering the number of the seats allotted to each state in the House. Provision to article 84 Constitution. Amendment provision Article 82 of the Constitution readjusts the rationalize the territorial. Rationalize. Rationalize the territorial constituency in state without altering the number of seats allotted to each state. Number of seats allotted to each state in the House of People and Legislative Assembly of the state. Student नौकरी 15 लाख नौकरी सरपंच काउंसिलर्स वार्ड मेंबर सब में लाखों लाख रुपया घर मिलेगा पैसा गाड़ी तनख्वाह सब मत छोड़ो ये नौकरी यूपीएससी के साथ जब आईएएस बन जाओगे तो छोड़ दोगे एसएससी बन जाओगे मगर वो नौकरी पहले करो चुनाव लड़ो देश बदलेगा तुम बदलोगे सब कंट्रीज यूपीएस प्लीज रिक्वेस्ट आई बेग टू स्टेट दैट प्लीज चुनाव लड़ो ऑल यूपीएससी एसएससी एस्पिरेंट ऑल स्टूडेंट्स नौकरी छोड़ो मत यार 50 रुपया में नॉमिनेशन करो 84 amendment provision readjust the regional legislative constituency without altering the number of seats allotted to each state in the House People and Legislative Assembly state including scheduled caste and scheduled tribes constituency to remove the imbalance caused due to the uneven growth of population elected in different constituencies. 84 amendment it is safeguard जितना था एमपीएमएल सीट्स वही रहेगा शेड्यूल कास्ट शेड्यूल ट्राइब सीट allotted to each house of the peoples. How is the Constitution of India amended? Do you think that the procedure of amendment makes Constitution a plaything? Article 380, 368 in Part 20 of the Constitution specifies the power of Parliament to amend the Constitution. The amending procedure is neither rigid nor flexible. Ever since the decision of Supreme Court in the case of the Bharati case, Parliament cannot amend the basic structure of the Constitution. Parliament can amend everything, but not amend the basic structure of the Constitution. Provision for the amendment of the Constitution. Any bill for the amendment of the Constitution can be introduced in either house of the Parliament. Any bill for amendment of the Constitution can be introduced in either house of the Parliament. Any bill for amendment of the Constitution. The bill may be introduced by a minister of or a private member of for which prior sanction of the president. The bill be introduced by a minister or a private member for which prior sanction of the president is not required. The bill may be introduced by a minister or a private member for which a prior sanction of the not required. By a minister or a private member for which prior sanction of the president is not required. Sanction of the president amendment bill. Constitutional amendment bill. The bill need to be passed in each house by special majority of its total members of the house and the majority of two-thirds of the total members of the house and a majority of two-thirds of the members of the house present at the voting. Majority of the total member. The bill must be duly passed by the both houses separately because joint sitting is not available. Any such bill which tends to amend any federal provision must be ratified by the legislature. Any such bill which tends to amend any federal provision, any state provision, regular provisions, centralist and concurrent. The state should be ratified by the legislature. ratified a PCC of half on behalf of the state by simple majority. By, after being duly passed, because such a bill can never be withheld. Such a bill can never be withheld or returned for reconsideration. This bill must, to which he must give his assent, must ଦେବେ. Bill can never be withheld. Such a bill never be withheld or returned for reconsideration. The bill becomes an act after being assented by the president. The bill becomes an act after being assented by the president. After being assent. आपकी पैर पढ़ रहा हूँ. इसको बचाओ. Candles. Under Article 262, what article Constitution can Union government plays its role in settling interstate water dispute? Under Article 262 of the Constitution, 262, Union government is legislated for settling of interstate water dispute. Union government legislate for setting of interstate water dispute. Parliament made law by providing for the adjudication of any dispute or complaint with respect to use, distribution and control of waters of any interstate river or river valley and excludes any jurisdiction of courts. It provided for settlement of this class. The government registered for setting of interstate water dispute. Parliament made a law for by providing for adjudication of any or complaint with respect to use, distribution on distribution and control of waters, distribution and control of water. Okay, any control of water of any interstate river or a river valley and excludes any jurisdiction of courts. To provide for settlement of the class of dispute by extrajudicial tribunal. Article 268. Interstate water dispute. In a government legislate. Complaint with respect to the use, distribution of control of water of any interstate river. Complaint. By providing for adjudication of any dispute. Adjudication of any dispute. Providing for adjudication of any dispute or complaint with respect to use, distribution of control of water, distribution of any interstate river or river valley, excludes any jurisdiction of the courts. The settlement of the class of dispute by extrajudicial tribunal. Why does the Constitution of India provide a different form of oath for president? Different form of oath. Actually, India provides different form of oath for president. Provide different form of oath for the president, the minister, the legislator, and the member of the judiciary. President shall take oath in the presence of the chief justice or in the absence of a synonymous judges. In his absence, the synonymous judges. He pledges to the faithfully execute the office. Supreme Court. He pledges to the faithfully execute the office of the president and to preserve, protect, and defend the constitution to promote the welfare of the people of India. Preserve, protect, and defend. President administer oath to the ministers in two separate forms. President administers oath to the ministers in two separate forms. President administers oath to ministers. One to uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India and faithfully discharge function of the office. And the second to maintain secrecy of the firms. One to uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India. President administers oath to the legislature to uphold true faith and allegiance to the Constitution. India to protect the sovereignty and integrity of India. protect sovereignty and integrity of India. He pledges the faithfully execute the office of president protect and defend the constitution. The protect and defend the constitution. Preserve to promote the welfare of the peoples. To promote the welfare of the peoples. So that it became protected against challenge on the ground that it violated the fundamental rights. The motivated 1975 amendment in the ninth schedule to the constitution so that it became protected against the challenge on the ground that it violated the fundamental rights. Violate करछि. There was the historic 42nd amendment which sought to institutionalize national emergency of 1975. There are sufficient to indicate that the amendment of the constitution have often been handmade of the center to satisfy petty interest of enhancing the powers to the party in power at that point of times. Fundamental challenge on the ground that is violated the fundamental rights. Only in case of amending the federal features of the constitution, consent of the state is required. This has exposed the power of amendment to the possibilities of being misused by the central government. Some instance would amply clarify the situation. The 38 amendment barred judicial review of the presidential order suspending the enforcement of fundamental rights. 38 amendment barred judicial review the presidential order suspending the enforcement of fundamental rights, followed by 39th amendment which it ousted the jurisdiction of the court. With the retrospective effect in the respect of any petition challenging the Prime Minister election to the Lok Sabha election, jurisdiction of the court ousted jurisdiction of the court challenging the Prime Minister election to the Lok Sabha with retrospective effect.